All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to take something that usually feels like a massive, boring legal checkbox, yeah, I'm talking about SaaS compliance, and completely reframe it. We're going to turn it into an essential, revenue-unlocking growth engine. Because, when we think about building a successful software-as-a-service company, our minds naturally jump straight to the fun stuff, right? Product features, user acquisition, scaling up that monthly recurring revenue. But today, we're going to look at the invisible foundation that actually makes all of that scaling possible and, most importantly, keeps it secure.
So I really want you to consider this. Is a lack of compliance secretly blocking your growth right now? It's a tough question for sure, but absolutely necessary. Just think about it. Is missing documentation stalling your fundraising efforts? Or worse, causing you to lose out on those massive lucrative enterprise deals? Well, it happens way more often than you might think. Savvy enterprise buyers and investors, they literally expect a rock-solid compliance posture before they ever sign a contract or write a check. Without it, your sales team is basically fighting a losing battle before negotiations even get off the ground.
To understand why, we really need to grasp this massive paradigm shift. It's like night and day. Unlike traditional software, where a company sold a one-time license on a disk and essentially walked away, SaaS businesses have a continuous, ongoing relationship with customer data. And what does that mean for you? It means your compliance burden never really ends. It shifts and grows as your product evolves, as your customer base expands, and as your infrastructure changes. You are processing their data every single day, which creates continuous, ongoing legal obligations. So to make this complex web manageable, we're going to follow a straightforward outline with 4 key pillars. 1. The SaaS compliance reality. 2. Data privacy and security. 3. Contracts, IP, and billing. And 4. Building your compliance roadmap. Let's hit that first pillar right now, the SaaS compliance reality. 4%. Yeah, you heard that right, 4%. That is not a typo. Ignoring data privacy carries absolutely terrifying financial risks. A major GDPR violation alone can cost you up to 4% of your global annual revenue. For a scaling SaaS company, a hit like that isn't just a slap on the wrist. It can be an absolute death blow. And the thing is, regulatory bodies aren't just handing out polite warnings anymore. They are actively and aggressively enforcing these laws.
And listen, GDPR is really just one piece of this massive global alphabet soup. You've got the CCPA and CPRA over in California, LGPD in Brazil, PIPEDA in Canada, and the DPDP Act in India. It's everywhere. If you're running a global SaaS company, you're definitely navigating overlapping frameworks. But here's the silver lining. Navigating this web of acronyms isn't just about avoiding those scary fines. It's actually about proving to your customers that you take their data seriously. When a customer sees that you respect their region's specific data laws, trust goes up and churn goes down. It's a win-win.
All right, moving right along to our second pillar, data privacy and security.
Now, it's a super common misconception that privacy and security are the exact same thing. Actually, scratch that. They are totally different beasts. Privacy dictates how you're legally allowed to use a customer's data. We're talking about things like getting consent and data minimization. Security, on the other hand, is the fortress. It's the wall that protects that data from hackers or unauthorized access. You simply can't have one without the other, which means you need super tight collaboration between your legal team and your engineering team. Which brings us to a massive cornerstone of modern software security, SOC 2 compliance. If you are selling B2B, you really need to pay close attention here. This framework proves to the world that you actually have the internal security controls you claim to have. Without a SOC 2 Type 2 report, your sales team is going to find that enterprise deals just stall out, often before negotiations even begin. Buyers will routinely ask for it, and honestly, if you can't produce it, they'll just take their budget and move straight on to a competitor who can. Furthermore, if you're looking to expand globally, pursuing ISO 27001 certification is basically the master key that unlocks major enterprise customers in Europe and Asia. See, while SOC 2 is incredibly popular in North America, ISO 27001 is really the international gold standard for information security management systems. Securing this specific certification signals to everyone that your platform security infrastructure is truly enterprise-grade, no matter where your buyer happens to be located.
Let's shift gears to our third pillar, contracts, IP, and billing.
Okay, the operational rules of engagement. It all starts right here. Having clear, enforceable terms of service isn't just tedious legal paperwork. It's quite literally the only way you can enforce usage limits and protect your platform from disproportionate claims. If some rogue user abuses your API and crashes your server, your terms of service are what give you the right to pull the plug. Oh, and your privacy policy? It absolutely must match what your product actually does.
Regulators absolutely love penalizing companies whose privacy policies misrepresent their actual day-to-day data practices. Then, of course, there's the money side of things. Because the SaaS model relies heavily on recurring revenue, your checkout and cancellation processes have to be fully 100% transparent to avoid triggering subscription and auto-renewal loss. Have you ever tried to cancel a software subscription and found it, completely impossible? It's the worst, right? Well, the FTC hates that too. Their click-to-cancel rule essentially mandates that leaving your service must be exactly as easy as signing up. So your compliance obligations live right there inside your billing flows.
And hey, do you think intellectual property is just about registering a few trademarks? Think again. Failing to secure basic employee IP assignments or simply not tracking your open source licenses can instantly blow up a massive future acquisition deal during due diligence. Seriously, imagine losing a multi-million-dollar acquisition over a tiny 5-line open source license discrepancy. It's a nightmare scenario. If you can't definitively prove your company entirely owns its codebase, buyers are going to walk away, or they'll drastically reduce your valuation. Finally, let's bring it all together with our fourth pillar, building your compliance roadmap. So, here is your actionable game plan to shift compliance from being this dreadful annual headache into a smooth, proactive process. You're going to map your data flows, draft your core legal docs, lock down your security implementations, pursue those major certifications we talked about, meticulously review your vendors, and finally, run regular audits. Consistency beats intensity here. You want to build a repeatable, reliable process that scales smoothly right alongside your revenue. But to really make that roadmap work, you have to fundamentally change how you build software. This means cultivating a company culture where privacy and security aren't just tacked on as afterthoughts, but are foundational elements built directly into the code base itself. This concept is called privacy by design. So instead of having the legal team totally panic right before a big product launch, you bring them into the design phase early on. You figure out how to minimize data collection from day one. Doing this significantly lowers your long-term risk and saves you from a ton of costly rework down the line. Let this thought sink in for a moment. Compliance work rarely feels urgent until the moment it becomes critical. It is so true. A missed agreement, an unsigned data processing addendum, or a vague privacy policy can just sit there, totally unnoticed for months. But then, it causes absolute chaos during a due diligence audit, or God forbid, when a customer actually suffers a data breach. Trust me, prevention is infinitely cheaper and way less stressful than recovery. So, I want to leave you with this final thought. Are you building a scalable growth engine or a ticking legal time bomb? Because integrating compliance into your daily operations doesn't just check legal boxes. It builds unshakable trust. It wins those massive enterprise deals, and it creates a truly resilient, unstoppable business. The choice is completely yours.